I believe being the people's lawyer means you have to be able to say no to the President of the United States. You have to speak truth to power. You have to be able to say that Donald Trump lost
This is what we get when 100 million eligible Americans don't vote.
the 2020 election. You dodged that question when you were asked directly by Senator Durbin. You have to be able to say that January 6th insurrectionists who committed violence shouldn't be pardoned. You have to be able to say that a nominee for the FBI director who says he has an enemy list, and that's just the beginning of what he has said.
You know, I thought it would be hard to top this alcoholic, sexual assaulter, white supremacist Pete Hegseth, but I was wrong. This is Pam Bondi, the next Attorney General. I say that because this Senate has 53 Republican cowards, cuckolds who care more about power than the country, the Constitution, and apparently the world. They're going to ignore the facts around Bondi while bowing to the president and the first lady. Elon! In March of 2016, it was revealed that the Trump Foundation had broken the law by giving an illegal $25,000 contribution to a political group supporting then Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi. Now, charitable foundations like the Trump Foundation are not allowed to engage in politics. Even more problematic was the fact that the contribution was given as Bondi's office was deciding whether to take legal action related to Trump University, which was ripping off students and forced to close. Here's how it went down. Bondi personally solicited a campaign contribution from Trump. A month later, her office told newspapers it would not be taking legal action against Trump or Trump University. This was followed by a fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago for which Bondi attended, a reward for Bondi's refusal to file the charges. This timeline suggests that Bondi may have solicited the contribution, and Trump and the foundation may have paid it as a bribe to influence her office's actions. And this is all on the record. But as the AG, it never saw the light of day. That's who Pam Bondi is. Now testifying before the Senate, she knows she's a shoo-in, so she blatantly refuses to answer a dozen questions. The first being whether or not she believes Trump lost. And she won't say it. She won't say Biden won or Trump lost. Listen.
I want to ask you a factual question. Who won the 2020 presidential election?
Joe Biden is the President of the United States.
Ms. Bondi, you know that there is a difference between acknowledging it and, I can say that Donald Trump won the 2024 election. I may not like it, but I can say it. You cannot say who won the 2020 presidential election. Okay. It's disturbing that you can't give voice to that fact.
Believe that central to the peaceful transition of power in a democracy is the acceptance of the results of an election. To my knowledge, Donald Trump has never acknowledged the legal results of the 2020 election. Are you prepared to say today under oath without reservation that Donald Trump lost the presidential contest to Joe Biden in 2020?
Ranking Member Durbin, President Biden is the President of the United States. He was duly sworn in, and he is the President of the United States. There was a peaceful transition of power. President Trump left office and was overwhelmingly elected in 2024.
Do you have any doubts that Joe Biden had the majority of votes, electoral votes necessary to be elected president in 2020?
Senator, all I can tell you as a prosecutor is from my firsthand experience.
So Pam Bondi joins the long list of cowards who won't state the truth, but instead repeat the lies about stolen elections and Trump's culpability in attempting a coup on January the 6th.
Is what I saw firsthand when I went to Pennsylvania as an advocate for the campaign. I was an advocate for the campaign, and I was on the ground in Pennsylvania, and I saw many things there. But do I accept the results? Of course I do. Do I agree with what happened? And I saw so much. No one from either side of the aisle should want there to be any issues with election integrity in our country. We should all want our elections to be free and fair, and the rules and the laws to be followed.
I think that question deserved a yes or no. And I think the length of your answer is an indication that you weren't prepared to answer yes.
That's a perfect example. She joins these two lunatics, Rudy and Sidney Powell, in lies about lasers from space, Venezuelan voting machines, and in Rudy's case, lying about poll workers in Georgia that cost him everything he owns and almost the lives of these people working the polls. What did Bondi see in Pennsylvania? Nothing. She saw, and it continues. Remember this?
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
Bondi was asked about this, and she lies, saying she hasn't heard of it.
Have you heard the recording of President Trump on January 2nd, 2021, when he urged the Secretary of State of Georgia to, quote, find 11,780 votes and declare him the winner of that state?
No, I've heard about it through clips, but no, Senator, I've not heard it.
What was your reaction to President Trump making that call?
I would have to listen to the tape, Senator.
Well, the quote that I give you is exact. He said to the Georgia Secretary of State, find 11,780 votes.
Do you have the entire context of that call? I feel like it was much longer than that and may have been taken out of context.
It was an hour long.
Right.
And you can certainly listen to it. I hope you will. Every American should.
She demands context? What the f have you been doing the last 4 years? I got that tape off the internet where it's been heard 270 million times, but not by someone who wants to be the Attorney General.
What the hell did you just say?
And as you heard, that led to a grand jury indictment, which is now in limbo. But the documents case and the insurrection, those cases, solid. And the recently released report proves that Trump planned the attack on the Capitol and stole secret government documents that he never returned. And that's where this starts looking like the Heritage Foundation Project 2025.
It's a roadmap for total control, Trump's control.
The gloves are off. There are no holds barred here.
Not just of the government, of your life, of your body, of every one of your freedoms, of what you can read and say, and where you can travel. He'll round up American citizens, use the government to punish his enemies, put the crazy and corrupt in power forever.
Listen to Bondi's response to whether or not, as Attorney General, she'll go after Cheney or Jack Smith.
You said, when Republicans take back the White House, the Department of Justice, the prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones, the investigators will be investigated. Ms. Bondi, is Jack Smith one of those bad prosecutors that you will prosecute as AG?
Senator, you hesitated a bit when I said the bad ones. Every decision
Sometimes
will be
badness
made
in the eyes of the beholder. I'm just asking whether you would consider Jack Smith
Senator,
to be one of the people. How about Liz Cheney?
Senator,
How about Merrick Garland?
I am not going to answer hypotheticals. No one has been prejudged.
Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
And of course, that goes hand in hand with Trump's pick for the FBI, this psycho, Kash Patel.
I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state.
We're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you.
Listen to Bondi's response and defense of Patel.
He is going to, quote, come after, end quote, people he alleges, quote, help Joe Biden rig the presidential elections, that he has a list of people who are part of this deep state who should be prosecuted, that he's going to close down the FBI building on his first day in office. Is that a person who appropriately should be the FBI director? Aren't those comments inappropriate? Shouldn't you disavow them and ask him to recant them?
Senator, I am not familiar with all those comments. I have not discussed those comments with Mr. Patel. What I do know
well,
is
I'm
Mr.
asking
Patel,
you for your view.
Excuse me. What I do know is Mr. Patel was a career prosecutor. He was a career public defender, defending people.
This obedient witch again lies about ever hearing Trump say this.
They're poisoning the blood of our country.
That's right out of Mein Kampf.
Illegal immigration is poisoning the blood of our nation. He said that in December 2023. Do you agree with that statement?
Senator, I am not familiar with that statement.
Look, this is more than dangerous and fits right in with making minorities, immigrants, and feminists the enemy. But the real question, should we release the criminals who attacked the Capitol, who beat 100 cops into hospitals and called for the deaths of Pence and Pelosi? Are they really hostages?
You see the spirit from the hostages, and that's what they are, is hostages.
For the felons convicted of breaking into the Capitol on January 6th, hostages or patriots, quoting Trump, as President-elect Trump has said repeatedly. Do you agree with his characterization of the felons that I referred to?
I am not familiar with that statement, Senator.
I just familiarized you with that statement. Do you agree with that statement?
I'm not familiar with it, Senator.
Okay, no answer.
She lies again and again and again, and she will be the next Attorney General. The real question is, how far will she go? Will Trump and Bondi and Patel start arresting members of the January 6th committee? Will they threaten Democrats with prison? Will Trump shut down networks and put Seth Meyers in jail for telling a joke? South Korea's democracy is collapsing, Germany's in trouble, and Trump is on the phone with Putin. It all seems like a bad dream, except this is happening in plain sight. So what can we do? Well, as I said, when 100 million people can't get off their asses to vote, this is what you get. And if Trump attempts to deport children who are U.S. citizens, arrest prosecutors, and put women in jail for abortions, well, the question, again, is this.
Do you really want to get him? You see what I'm saying? What are you prepared to do?
Everything within the law.
And then what are you prepared to do?
Goddamn right.
You may find some parts of the story to be offensive.
They're eating the dogs.
You're an idiot!
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.